Greetings to all, this is Aridif, it is Aridif, and this is its spin. We understand all of you desire to go through the time frame in which you perceive as August in your construct, all but so excitedly expressed as the Pleiadian Pulse, and share with you what your month in the time of energy comes, but just as we have expressed previously. Throughout our co-creations, there are two things that we wish to express. The first, above and beyond all things that are expressed in this day, to know, to perceive, to feel that you are loved, and our perspective is of the utmost importance. Secondly, it is our greatest excitement, and within that same form of great excitement in which we co-create with all of you. Now we also preface this construct by saying what we share within these Pleiadian Pulse expressions, and as we are creating an energy of expressing what the conditions are for this month, what we are doing is sharing the natural cyclical energy that is experienced on the entirety of the Earth human collective. This does not mean that the planets rule you in one way. It does not mean that you are forced to adhere to the universe's words and energies. It only means that these energies are either more open or more resistant within your co-creation with others and with the dynamic of consciousness itself. Also, as we've expressed previously, there are two waves of human consciousness, majority of them, and of course there are many more waves than this, but these two are the majority of waves that occur in the Earth co-create collective consciousness, and this means that the energy itself of the first work, as we share with the first wave of human beings, that the second wave will experience it approximately within 6 to 8 days after the first wave of human consciousness. So, for the first waves, we will express that as you are looking at the entirety of the month in nature, we have several different dynamics. The first, within your first week, starting out at the ending of your July month and going in to the entirety of the first work, energy is already in acceleration. Many of you involved. This can be partially for relationships, partially for the expression of your passions, excitements, desires, partially for what your work is, partially for what you are known in the collective for, partially for any of the dynamics that adhere to the experience of majority of your focus. These energies will be in accelerated form. Now for some of you, this will feel as if you are super busy. This will feel as if your time is compressed. 1 week may only feel as if it is days to you, or 1 or 2 days for some of you in deep levels of acceleration. The energy will be moving quickly, but in the first work it is more so contained within the mental energy rather than that of the physical expression. The action orientation, the action mechanisms will not be required to push within that very first week of energy. Now, of course, when you are looking at the first 2.5 weeks of your month, this very accelerated feeling energy is present with all of you. Depending about what your specific area of focus is, this will determine what areas of your life feel as if they are going faster, accelerating. Now, of course, some of you will deeply be integrated into massive forms of changes in your life experience. Some of you, this is with your financial energy, others with relationships, others with your passions, desires, or works. Projects that were started will feel accelerated deeply in that way, and of course it will continue for the first 2.5 weeks. And of course, the last 1.5 week, the energy slows down, but of course we will share more in detail with this as we cover second week. Now, as you approach this second week, the energy of those who are in the second wave of entities will just be starting their first wave of that first week time experience. But for you in the first wave, the second week will be a physical busyness, as we shared. The first 2.5 weeks in nature are accelerated, but most of this within planning, concepts, ideals, creation, aspects, relationship orientation, where the experience would be communicative rather than that of active, where in the first week perhaps you and your loved ones are creating a plan to do something together, whereas in the second week that would be action. For those of you with work, perhaps you will be planning for a trip, planning for a project in the first week, and the second is the activity of that specific project or the traveling concept. So all of these energies, where you focus upon the mental state first, the second week, that action moves forward. Now, of course, when you are approaching the end of that second week, also many things will be experienced with a great level of intensity on the mental energy, because it has been sped up in that way, because the hyper-focused nature of the mental body has been highly activated, and perhaps some of you may feel this as a great mental pressure. There is a great opportunity for that end portion of the 2-week period, approximately between your 6th and 10th days of this specific each month, and in this specific time frame, the energy for lashing out or co-creating negative thought processes on yourself, arguing with loved ones, may intensify. The energy has been perpetual motion, planning, mental indulging in that time period. So as the energy starts shifting toward that end of the second week period, then of course confrontations can occur when you are in actions over something you have mentally created for some time. There is the possibility of miscommunications in that way. Now, of course, those of you in second wave at the end of the second week will be starting where the second week of the first wave started. Now, of course, going into this 13th to 19th region, entering the end of your second week and the beginning of the third week, into the center of the week, energy will start slowing a bit. Now, when this occurs, opportunities will be created for you in a sense. Many of you who have worked with the mental body so deeply will have opportunities to reconfigure the structures, all of these things that you have worked with, all of these things that you have planned, and the execution of that plan. You learned many things. You learned what did and did not work. This gives you an opportunity to re-evaluate that region and create new things from that. Now, although this may be deeply subtle for some entities who work more in the emotional state, it will still be present for these opportunities to show themselves, opportunities to work with the mental body as you have not been able to previously. And of course, the energy will be a benefit to all humans who feel the opportunities of opening energy for them and place action within. Now, if communication is involved within that active state, we suggest being very mindful of that energy, because if you are working through communication when others are in modality of lashing out or acting up, this of course can be a very difficult construct. Now, of course, the 22nd to 25th, the ending area, from around the 21st or 22nd going through the 25th and 26th region. During those communications, during those lashing out, during the plans that were thought about, then executed, during the opportunities that may arise, there can be a construct in where you are tested or challenged in that way. Now, when we say tested or challenged, this mostly has to do with where you self-interpret. This is how your mental energy is incremented internally. This is how the consciousness within you works. So you will be able to test those new opportunities fairly quickly within a less than 10-day to 12-day period. The constructs of energy being around, it will show you if your personality as it is tested with others that are lashing out, if it is tested with communication, will you continue to work with people in the same fashion, or will you continue old habitations? Now, of course, many of you may see this in the collective sense. We understand Rob himself has shared greatly that the construct of politics does not resonate with him. The construct of world affairs does not resonate because these energies are asking you to choose one side, when in his own mind both sides do negative things, not only to one another, but to the people that they are meant to govern. So this construct, in a collective sense, may be playing out within this time period of the third week to the end of the month, where the collective is asked, will you continue to choose sides and to continue fighting a fight that is not specifically in your nature to create or in your nature to defend? All the powers or the energies that are in charge of that way may be more domineering, may be more dominant in their way to communicate. And eventually, for the rest of the year, there are undertones of this energy. Do I continue choosing one side in a collective fight? Or do I pull back into my own energy and choose for me personally and those that are around me? Understanding, yes, you can change the collective consciousness, but you cannot do it yourself. It is a collective consciousness because you are 1/8 billionth of a piece of that collective. So working with what you can in what ways you can, this is the powerful expansion. Working with local groups, those that are important to you and in your direct vicinity, will show you a much greater operating system to manifest those things into the collective that you've been fighting so many years with others and with yourself about. Now, of course, those in the second wave will start experiencing the second week time period of the first wave in approximately a third week of the first wave human consciousness. Now, as we go to the last portion of the month, there are many opportunities for the spiritual growth in changes to perspective. And this, of course, is the example that we previously shared. But it also indicates that those of you who are working deeply to connect with psychic energies will have a great opportunity to learn better ways to communicate not only with yourself and others, but to your higher self as well. Noticing that in that time region, that is the approximate fall of your mid-third week and fourth week respectively, these energies itself gives you an opportunity to work with a higher fractal consciousness in different ways. Now, of course, second wave of humans will feel the third wave towards, or the third week of the first wave in the last week as well. We also wish to express to all of you that not only are you loved, but we love you as well, and of course we bid you adieu.